So it is freezing out here, especially for Southeast Texas. It is in the 20s. It was 28 and dropping last time I checked. And while we're usually not big fans of heat lamps during cold weather because they are a fire hazard, we turned on this one in here because it is so chilly. And then we have, you can see the bedding in here, our little chicken, and they're all hanging out in here. And I'm just gonna close it up and let it be. I didn't want to close them in because they like to be free. They're adult hens, so even in the cold weather they can still hang out and be fine. But it is really cold out here. I'm surprised there's not more ice in their water, especially since we're not used to cold weather. One thing I thought was really funny though is I came outside because the kids started screaming because it's snowing, and mind you, it's just sleeting. There are little flurries coming from the sky, but we already have such a high moisture content here, so that's probably why. You might be able to see some of the white flecks. They are dropping on the phone, which means the precipitation is probably picking up quite a bit. The problem with snow here is it becomes an icy mess, and I'm glad that we didn't listen to the weather that said it wouldn't be too bad, because now we have a hard freeze of 18 degrees. Last time it said that, we all lost power and it got down to 9 degrees. The toilet water in our house was frozen because we're not set up for that. So one thing I noticed is that the blue egg layer that just started laying eggs laid another egg inside of the feeder right there. Look at that blue egg. It's so funny. The other hen, since we put shavings in, the new brown egg layer, she got with a program and went and laid in the shavings this morning. But as of 10 o'clock, there was not a blue egg in here. We filled up the feeder, my sister and I did, and I just came out to check on them with little snowflakes starting to fall, and sure enough, there's a stinking egg in there. So let me go around. So look at this. This is the example of snow here. It's just little things of ice all over the trash cans and things like that falling. This is what people freak out about because we don't get snow here. So they're so crazy excited over little things like that. And you can see over the truck, like here, and the tarp, what we're talking about. So that's what people freak out over this. And it's so funny to people who are in northern parts of the country that experience real winter storms that are laden with snow and you're getting several inches or feet, and probably laugh so hard at people in Southeast Texas. But we freak out over the littlest bit of snow because it doesn't really stick. It just turns into sheets of ice everywhere, and it's really scary to see people drive in it. I mean, let's be realistic. We can drive in monsoon rain storms when hurricanes come, but we cannot handle a little ice because we're just not used to it. So these girls are pretty much completely unaffected by the weather. It is cold, but they have really great feathers. They're all adults. 2 of them just started laying, and they are doing really well. Surprisingly enough, the meat chickens are doing okay too. Like I said, I put a heat lamp on so if they get cold, but they're surprisingly doing well. Most meat chickens do not do well and generate enough heat to, well, they can't maintain their temperature. They can generate heat when they're really big, and they overheat easily and they get cold easily because I have polar feathering. These 3 girls were the freaks of nature of our meat birds. They were extremely small. You can still see they're just kind of not good meat quality birds, and they just look like mostly regular chickens. And that's why they're doing so well out here with the other chickens, because they have good feathers, they're not oversized, they don't have any growth issues like other meat birds. They're just kind of living their best life. So as far as meat birds are concerned, people would probably say they're poor genetic quality, but as for a happy chicken, yeah, they're doing really well. They're out here foraging with the rest of the girls. Why are you getting mad at me, little one? She is not happy about me being in here. Hey! You look kind of funny. You can actually see little snowflakes floating in the air. What are you doing over there? Are you cold? They say people from our area of Texas don't know how to dress for cold weather. Would you say that's true?
Pretty much.
because it's always hot, right? You can actually see this little flakes drifting in the air. Hey, look, look. Look in here. There's a egg. One of them laid a blue-green egg. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So hilarious. Look, literally got in here, treat it like a nest box. She hasn't really learned what's going on yet. And we didn't get nest boxes because we weren't expecting them to lay. This is still warm. So it is like 2 in the afternoon, which means she laid this recently. There's no reason it should be warm when it's 20-something degrees outside. And to make matters worse, our humidity right now is like 90-something%. So it makes the air feel that much colder. And luckily the wind's only averaging between 5 and 12 miles per hour. So that is nice, because with wind, it would literally chill you to the bone. Especially when you live in an area that doesn't have a lot of trees to block it out. Are you guys gonna go back in your coop? I'm gonna go out, because this one right here in front, you can tell she's starting to get cold, puffing up her feathers. And I think because I'm in the run, they're not gonna want to go to the coop. So I'm gonna go exit and see if they'll go into their coop.
In the feeder.
I don't know, because to her it looks like a nest box. So I thought they would go inside of their coop again, because a couple were nesting in there, but these girls want to be outside foraging. But when it gets cold enough, I'm sure they'll go in the coop, because they have a little heat lamp in there too, just in case. But I think they'll be fine even without it, to be honest. I just was worried about the couple of meat chickens that we have. Hey, babe.
I got another one.
Can see a little hobble over there. She's still hobbling along on her foot a little bit, but it looks like it's doing a lot better. So I'm glad we allowed her time to heal.
Hey, sister, do we still have that chicken that got beat up?
Yeah, we do. The one that was attacked?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got her and she was
Is
already
it the
pretty
red
sick.
one that's facing this way or the one that's facing that way?
It's the red one that's facing this way, because she's already fully healed. So when we got these red chickens, actually the night we were supposed to pick them up, they had gotten attacked. She had got left out and gotten attacked by something. So we ended up getting her for free when we bought the other girls, and we got them for incredibly cheap, like between $4 and $6 a piece. And we took her home, and her eye was pretty messed up. I put some medication on it, and she healed up really well. So she's out there foraging with the rest of them.
Look at that chicken. That chicken's in the...
Standing in the scratch greens. She has it all to herself because the other girls are over there. He called you a lazy egg. Are you a lazy egg, chicken? So I didn't have a lot of stuff to cover everything, but I wasn't that concerned, because what we did, the only thing we have growing right now, the only 2 things that cannot stand this freezing weather, or under that gray bucket over there, is actually our fig bush. It cannot handle these cold temperatures, so I covered it up. And we have a bunch of lettuce and stuff. I'm less worried about the lettuce over here hanging out in this area. There's some lettuce and new lettuce popping up. I think that will be okay. It'll get some freeze damage but survive. But as for the chard and the fennel is a Mediterranean plant, so it doesn't do well in these temperatures. So we transplanted a bunch of fennel from our original garden over there, harvested 90% of it out of the garden, and we're currently processing it inside.
Came off those plants.
Yeah, that's a lot of ice.
Mm-hmm.
And we have it under this tarp along with some of the Swiss chard that we planted, a good portion of it. Now, we didn't have enough tarps or anything to cover all of it, so we specifically covered where the fennel was, since that will do it has the least amount of chance surviving this cold weather. And it's under here where we think it'll keep from freezing and dying. And also I went ahead and buried it with soil, because with fennel you hill it up like this. This is a fennel plant that we cut the tops off to harvest, and then you hill it up with dirt, and that's how the bulb is formed. Well, I knew that the storm was coming, so I covered it up as much as possible with dirt. This is one of my original fennel plants, and I think that'll protect it. And
I protected the egg from the snow.
Awesome. You can see all the ice falling, and then underneath here there are a bunch of plants. So the Swiss chard and fennel.
Look at all
All
that.
of that. I know. Where they'll be safe. So at least we'll be able to protect a majority of our crop from this freezing weather, because we just don't have the resources to cover all of it. And then the crazy thing is, up until this point, our blackberries had started producing again. So you can see all of these flowers, which I did not cover because the blackberry plants will survive winter. Now the berries probably won't make it. We'll probably see some flower drop after all of this, but that's okay because they'll start producing again when warmer weather comes, no problem. Yeah, it's probably frozen. The berries that are on there are probably frozen.
It is frozen. Usually I can squeeze them, but now I can't cut it.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see what happens to these berries after the freeze. So that's something I definitely want to follow up with. I think I'm going to dig up some of the marjoram to keep it safe from a freeze.
Marjoram?
Yeah, Larry's plants, because he's been growing it for so long. Let's see, because like here's some growing. It actually looks like it's doing okay. That has new growth. I'm actually getting ice all over my shirt.
They haven't been pooping in this thing.
No, the cat stopped. The wild cat stopped getting in it, thank goodness. And then you can see the ice accumulating on all of these giant red mustard. But the giant red mustards and lettuce and things, while they will have damage from the freeze, I don't think that they're going to die. I think they're going to be just fine. So I'm willing to let them just be in the weather and see what happens. Yeah, they're frozen with ice. Everything is. The onions are going to be okay too, I think. And then this lettuce, the leaves are actually big enough to go ahead and harvest them. But I don't want to do that with the frigid weather. And you can see the ice kind of accumulating on them too. I know I'm turning the camera a lot, so please forgive me for that. So you can kind of see it falling onto here as it falls from the sky. And that'll have freeze damage, but again, the lettuce will probably survive, no problem, because it did last time we got a freeze, and we'll just wait to see what happens.
That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. And
it was like down to 9 degrees.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago, and it was down to 9 degrees. Almost 4, actually. There's a lot of little flakes
I'm
drifting through the air.
Egg.
We can't really see them through the camera.
I'm protecting the egg.
Yeah, you have the egg in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's still warm, which means she laid it recently. Look at that. You can see it's getting kind of windy.
It's gonna stay warm. It's gonna stay warm because it's in my pocket.
Okay.
Look how fast that wind goes.
I know. You can tell the wind's picking up because the pinwheel is going so quickly.
It's going again.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Dad will be home soon.
Yeah, but, well, you can't operate a crane in this weather.
Oh, no, he cannot.
So we are gonna head inside because the wind is picking up and my hands are freezing even through my gloves. But I just wanted to kind of show off what we're doing and our egg, how we laid some shavings down for everyone, and then the ice accumulating, which is really funny. I'm sure if we actually get a little blanket of snow down, I'll definitely do a short or a video showing it, but realistically we get a little bit of ice and Texas freaks out.
Yeah, we don't get that much. We don't get actual snow.
Definitely not.